Founders Disco. I'm your host Shuj, and we're here with Rebecca. Rebecca is the founder of Über Salon Limited and has been operating it for 15 years. Welcome, Rebecca. Do you want to tell us a bit about you?
Yeah, sure. Hi, welcome. So I founded the Über Salon when I was 22 years old. I was given the opportunity from my former boss, who approached me. I was actually the youngest of the salon at the time and the new one, the new beginner. And he just saw potential in me, which at the time I couldn't really see, but I wasn't going to throw that opportunity away. So I grabbed it, and I ended up being one of the youngest salon owners in the country at the time. I'm from Essex in the UK. Very big into our beauty, hair, looks, aesthetics. I wanted to change everything about the salon that I worked in, and make it just a really welcoming hub, and kind of with a boutique blend rather than corporate, and then also not too friendly that you don't get the professional look and feel that clients want the most. I wanted a trusted space, a bit of a community hub, somewhere that people can just come feel amazing and go out feeling like really beautiful. So that's what I'm still doing today. So it all started.
Amazing. And is it one
So
salon or you've got
I've got
multiple
one
locations
building,
across?
but with the beauty upstairs and the hair down. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And you mentioned you sort of took over from a
Yeah.
previous owner. So just I haven't interviewed someone who's had that,
Yeah.
sort of transition experience. How did you
Yeah.
transition sort of from what it was to your
So
vision of what it could
I
be?
did it gradually, as much as I could to keep the place open and still running, and not to lose clients, and try and keep the transition as smooth as possible. Where I said before I was the youngest one, I did lose a few staff along the way, which it was actually really, really stressful when I look back. But it did make me stronger, and it made me recruit people that work for me and no longer the person before. So that transition was quite stressful, but it was for the better because I gained my own team eventually. And I made changes every weekend, to the decor, bringing in things, little changes as much as I could along the way. But I will admit, it's so different from being in a salon to owning it, and I think that's what I underestimated the most. I always say, I was like a rabbit in headlights. There were things that I didn't even know existed, and I'm sure some of my girls are like that now, but it was insane, the transition. But I grew up quickly and I learned fast. But it 6 days a week, it was, or 7, it was
Amazing,
my life. I
amazing.
was doing it
Yeah,
in my
it's
sleep. I remember it was just full on. But it was worth it. Yeah.
I could imagine. I know a lot of us we go through that, right? Like I used to work at agencies, doing very
Yeah.
similar stuff to what I'm doing now, different context, but very similar client service, that kind of thing. But when you're almost
Yeah.
sheltered from
And you think you're not.
everything,
You don't think you
right?
are.
Do your job, crush the day.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like I think one of my first biggest shocks was like simply the
Yeah.
fees involved of owning a business with the government,
Yeah.
not even starting on
Yeah.
taxes or anything like that. What do you mean it costs that much a year? Like, for what? You know?
I know.
And
I always say
yeah,
it's
like
like
simple things that just don't
it costs this much just
occur,
to turn your
you
light
know?
switch off, light switch on when you walk through the door. That's your price. And it's crazy. I had quite a lot to
Hmm.
prove because I was
Absolutely.
young, and a lot of people
Yeah. And
they weren't all on, championing me. They don't like change. And so I think that it kind of fueled me that little bit more, just to prove that I was up for it, but also felt I couldn't be any other way. So head down.
amazing. Like, what made that sort of experience important enough for you to actually first take the step to ownership, and then to
Yeah.
actually stick, because I know
I
that
won't lie,
takes a
there's
lot
been
of
many a
like
times where I'm like, I
fortitude,
can't
right?
do this anymore. I can't. It's a brutal industry, the hair and beauty industry. I've had many a staff that have come and gone, and some have, they've made me feel like I can't carry on where they've left and taken client base, but each time it just makes you stronger. And the biggest turning point was in lockdown when I actually realised that the salon wasn't going anywhere. Like it was a really strong business, and I think that's the first time. And that was I'd had it 10 years by that point. First time I realised like the salon, whoever leaves, whoever comes, no one's bigger than the salon. But I think it had taken that many challenges and all those times to realise that. And I feel like the community really pulled in, and really we felt really valued in that time. When we did come back, it was a bit of a turning point for our industry, as in the sense that I find people really recognised how much they valued their hairstylists or beauty therapists. But before that, I'd probably say I just had a burning drive inside me, really, to make it work. It had my name on it, and I also wanted to give back to clients, to make something just that feel good, that there was nothing better. I think I was kind of addicted to the adrenaline of when it was super busy, and I was like, this is mine, this is my salon, the vibe's brilliant, the music's on, the girls are happy, the clients, yeah. And people have described it as a bit like a wine bar in there, like really chilled place and space, and that drove me, I
Hmm.
guess. Yeah.
Amazing. So
Right.
one of my, sorry, yeah, one of my best friends is a hairdresser, and she
Yeah.
became my best friend because like
Brilliant.
their salon was right next door, like down my stairs, out the door, and the second
Yeah.
building, um, so I used to walk past her every day. Hello, is this, that, and of course, to the point where
Yeah.
when I moved city, the stress of
Yeah.
finding someone to do my hair,
Yeah.
the way I
It
like it,
makes
the
people
way,
travel miles.
and to have that exact feeling you're talking about, right? The vibe, the connection, Um, I ended up growing my hair to my waist. Like I just
Yeah.
simply didn't cut my hair
Wow.
forever. I recently cut it
Yeah.
till December. It was
Yeah.
like there, like,
Yeah. It's
um,
mad, isn't it?
and I used
What
to
it
travel. I
makes
used
you
to
do,
go,
that relationship. Yeah.
drive 6 hours to see her
Yeah.
every
Just to
couple
sit in
months,
that
just to,
chair and feel comfortable and
um,
confident, like,
yeah,
and relaxed. Yeah.
absolutely, and for sure, and I've sort of like I nothing to do with it necessarily, but helped out here and there, and encouragement and stuff. But she's gone from being a apprentice to
Oh, amazing.
sort of finishing that up, qualifying in, and now she's
Yeah.
not yet got her own salon, but we're working on it.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible. No, good on her.
And going through that over the space of like it's
Yeah.
10 years or something I've known her now,
Yeah.
has been
Oh,
amazing. Yeah, she's, so I know the feeling you're describing. It's like nostalgic to me. Cool. So if we were to strip
what does it solve?
down a little
Did you say?
bit and ask, what
I
problem
feel it
does your
actually
business
solves
solve and
things.
for who?
It solves ways
Hmm.
that it can channel younger girls into something, like as in staff wise, I'd say they can do hairdressing still in school, and I find people that find school a little bit more challenging. It's actually a great creative outlet for them to get stuck into. So I feel like that is a nice environment for someone to flourish. Like I feel that people sometimes that aren't always into the educational side, but they're more creative. Hairdressing is a great outlet. And I also think it makes people feel good. It's a really feel good industry. it's tough to start with. Like, all you're doing is you're just a glorified cleaner when you're an apprentice, basically. But if you've got it's really rewarding once you get going, and if you get into it and you meet loads of people. So I think it's really good nowadays. It's a great hub, salons, for people to actually get out and meet people, because so many things are done online. That the communication and the socializing isn't, it's not always there. But I'd say that kind of does solve that. In, even if you want to come in and get your hair done, you can have a chat, or if you didn't want to chat, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, so I think it's a great industry for creating a bit of a safe space for people to chat about something and it not leave the door, like it stays inside the salon walls.
Yeah, yeah. We touched on it before about, some of the challenges and frustrations and wanting to burn it all down.
Yeah,
Um, it's normal. It's totally normal. Like
yeah,
for me and some of the people that I work with, it's once a day, you know?
yeah.
So,
When you're building, I think that's it. It's the highs and the lows, and I think if you're not going to experience those, then you're not really going to value what you build, or something's
absolutely.
not
And
right, like it. Yeah,
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 and I think those challenges as well definitely mean you're on the right path, right? Because you're
yeah,
solving new problems as opposed to struggling with the same ones over and over again.
yeah. And you care to make it right, get it
Yeah,
perfect.
for sure. So, what was probably the most frustrating part of that transition period? And subsequently, let's roll down like 5 years later when the business is now yours and your vision is coming to life. What were maybe some of the frustrations then?
I touched at the beginning on staff, but one of my biggest frustrations was the original team. Kind of some of them against me because they'd been there a lot longer, they'd wanted the position. So some of them leaving and taking the clientele that I felt that I'd sort of, like I bought the business as well. So I felt I'd bought the goodwill of the clients. But obviously clients need to be happy. But it was just not having their support and the frustrations of trying your hardest with everything, but you're up against it. So once they did leave, yeah, I felt that it was, I could really get my teeth into it and show what I was kind of, my vision I wanted, and the staff to have the same vision and the team as me going forward. And that's where it started to take off. Having loyal team members, I think, but also the frustrations of kind of walking into things and signing up to stuff that now I'd be like, red flag, no way. So the amount of money I wasted at first, in one of the biggest was I advertised in a magazine for all like police services. I paid quite a lot of money for it, and it was being advertised in Manchester. And I remember saying, don't think they're going to travel from a magazine article from Manchester. And I was so upset. It was the Blue Light or something, like magazine that goes round all, yeah, like ambulance, police and paramedics. And I just thought, oh, never again. So yeah, that was one of them. And it's just getting your team in place, like your marketing people, now like your social media people, your core team.
Mhm.
It takes a few like trial and error moments to get there.
I
Yeah.
completely understand. One of my earliest business experiences, well, I think 18 or 19, and totally salty at the world. And so I started this business out of sheer spite. And it was in-person IT services. Come to your office and fix your computer, things like that.
Okay.
And I bought into a shopper docket back in the day, like on the back of your receipt at the supermarket. There were all those like
Yeah.
get a discount on gas or whatever,
Yeah.
$20 service at the nail salon, that kind of thing.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
Some guy would just spun me this tale, and I was like, you know what, whatever, let's do it.
Yeah.
and it wasn't a ton, you know, it was like maybe $500 or something. But at the time, that felt like a lot of money because I was actively earning that money by working in restaurants. So,
Right. Yeah.
you know, um,
Yeah.
I made nothing, zero ROI on that. Because
I can
it's just the
imagine.
wrong place for the wrong person, you know?
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
We've all got to
and
go.
you meant so you mentioned marketing and social. So you do those things in-house?
We do, yeah. Some of my team, because they're really creative. One of my managers, she does the social media. She's done it for years now.
Hmm.
Along with another, yeah, like some sort of answer messages, and some do the posts and the reels. But we find that with social media, like for salons, it's quite hard to build. In the sense that people like to go on and look, but at the same time they don't always. I'm not sure. It's just harder to get it off the ground. Social media, like it for salons, like you've got to either have someone that solely just pushes at it, or we do it like in between clients or that side of it. So yeah, we do as much as we possibly can, and we always want to deliver on answering back messages or any queries, because we find that's really important, that client relationship.
Yeah.
Because websites for salons as well, that's not really, you've got to have like a nice website, but it's not really going, it's not like an e-commerce site. It's just there to see the visual, what you do, and to be able to book online. It's
Sure.
when, yeah, yeah, it's trying to,
I, I
I find with so,
I get that. I
yeah, so,
think sometimes so social presence, I like with the health and beauty industry, I think social presence super important and being really
yeah,
active in growing that following. But
yeah,
in my experience, there's an element of being super intentional with the engagement, right? Like
yeah,
and understanding. So if you remember, I touched on that before about what problem are you trying to solve and for who, right? I can use Rochelle sort of as an example. So she is one of the best around at blonde, right?
yeah, amazing.
And her skill set has expanded, but that's sort of
Mm,
like, you know, her thing. Like a tattoo artist is, or they've got their certain style or
yeah,
whatever, right?
yeah,
So, you know, in a situation like that, she understands the type of, well, like the mentality behind a person who's like, I want to go blonde, right?
mm,
And so when they maybe hit her up or have a question or whatever, like it's important to understand how to drive that person towards actually like pulling the trigger, right?
yeah, yeah,
Without trying to force bleach down their throat, you know.
mm,
Yeah, you know, that in itself is a skill. It's a skill set, right?
mm,
And
yeah.
typically it comes down to like what would it take for this decision to be a no-brainer, right?
I've
What do
got
you
one of
need to
them.
see?
I think if a friend, like your friend, then I think it's like that they're sold. So like a recommend a friend. That's what we kind of drove my business back to back, giving out. Can't get enough of them because they get money off, and then they like the friend's hair, and it kind of sells itself. That's where I think you can seal the deal with securing a client. If they
Yeah.
like your work on socials and then they like their friend's hair, then I think they're sold. That's how they
Oh,
get through the door. Yeah.
yeah. So idea, there's a marketing term for it is proof, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, undeniable proof that you do what you say you're gonna do, right? And that
Yeah.
it's going to be a good experience. Hey, check out the 5,000 reviews I have, but also
Yeah.
just shoot your mate a text and they'll let you know because they've been coming here for two
Yeah.
years.
Exactly.
You know, like,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 I know what you mean. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And what about like technology wise? Like, what kind of have you found any? I'm guessing you guys use a booking system.
Yeah. So you know, when I founded Uber, it was a book and a pen and pencil and like, yeah. paper and just, yeah, it was crazy. And if someone didn't have good handwriting, you'd be like, I don't even know the client's name. Like, but we've moved on a lot since then, which is great.
Mhm. Yep.
And we're quite happy with the system now. We use Forest, and they're pretty well known. They're one of the major ones. They're great. They do the marketing, the cashing up, the reports. You can get a report on absolutely nearly anything
Hmm.
possible. Was how much sort of utilization of like each staff member, down to sort of sending out newsletters, and it makes it easy for the accounts as well, which is good. Um,
Amazing.
so yeah, that's where I think that really helps. So if you've got a sound booking system and it's reliable, then yeah, you can book online. That's great, and people can have it on their phones. The other thing I did want to go into was having an Uber app, but I also just with the name. So the name
Yeah.
Uber, when I first started it, it was the same year as the taxi company was founded. So nobody had heard of Uber by this point in 2010. I think they were founded in America first and then they came over to the UK. But everyone was like, what's that mean? What's that mean? But it's from my nan. So she was Swiss origin. And it means above the rest. So that's why I called, but it kind of has been a little bit diluted by the Uber company now. So yeah, I would like an app, but maybe the Uber in there, but something a little bit different so it's not too confusing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but I would like to do that so people can click on and then it's all in
Yep.
one spot. And I
Amazing.
think that would be our growth. I think that would look quite good and be, yeah, nice thing for our
Fantastic.
clients.
I was gonna say I actually one of the things I do is take people out of these like, subscription or paper user services and
Right.
build custom apps.
Ah, wow. Ah,
That's
there we go.
my business. I know you had no idea probably that
Yeah.
that's you know. But yeah, a lot of gyms and things like that. But we have heaps of
Mhm.
options for salons, barbershops.
Yeah.
If I think inventory management, things like that, like heaps of options. So we
Yeah.
can maybe have a chat down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say if 15 years down, right?
Mhm.
Do you sometimes feel like you still have like sticking points in terms of your growth?
Yeah, I think we're at one now, a major one, and it's at where do we go from here? Because we've reached the ceiling now, like the building's full, it's at full capacity. We are more or less fully booked all the time. So the goal's reached, but where do we go now? So it's it's keeping sustaining that, but also then building still so it doesn't fall stagnant. So then I'm thinking, so another location, but where our location is one of our biggest unique selling points. It's so picturesque, it's beautiful where we are. It's finding another location, but I'd almost like to do in the future like a wellness hub. So it would be not just hair and beauty, but like bringing it all together with like healing, holistic therapies. We do like the Japanese head spa now, and spiritual healing, but kind of making it a complete experience. So from the moment you step in until you step out, you're there for the day, and it's all combined under one roof. So that would be my next. But like the sticking point, going back to the original, the sticking point is the fact that we have sort of utilised the whole building now, and we haven't got any more space to grow much more. So we kind of need to put that somewhere else as well, I think.
Amazing. That's a really cool problem to have though.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
that's a
definitely.
really cool problem.
Yeah,
I also work with some the massage therapists,
yeah,
wellness studios and things like that. So yeah, I'm familiar with that
yeah,
space.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
my wife is super into that stuff. Um,
Yeah, it's good.
I wish I had the time, but
You have to make the time.
she's into it. Yeah, yeah, that's the thing.
Oh,
Whenever
yeah,
we go on trips, we do things like that together. We've done the Japanese style massage stuff,
nice.
and
head spa.
You'll quite often see
Really
us in
nice.
the salons next to each other and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
lovely.
yeah, yeah.
That's great.
If you had unlimited time and money, what do you think would have been done at this point?
I think I've kind of touched on that like a little bit, and that's that a little bit in the previous. I would have maybe designed it more as a wellness hub.
Hmm.
After the journey I've just been on with sort of battling the cancer and getting through that, then those are the sort of treatments and therapies I really feel hold quite a dear space in my heart, because the difference they can add and they bring to people. And even if you haven't been ill or you're just running a busy life, family, I just think if you can just take a moment for yourself and, you know, whether it's Reiki, massage, just having your hair done, your nails, anything along that, then I think it really helps within the improvement of your mental health as well. So if I would have turned it into and had the time and not, I think I would have turned it into more of a hub like that, and the layout would be a little bit different. Maybe that's what, or had a few by now, possibly.
Yeah.
If yeah, I think lockdown slowed us down quite a bit, and picking up after that. Yeah, so now there's definitely a new
It's a
way.
bit rough.
Yeah.
For those physical businesses,
Yeah.
to just stop for up to what, 2 years in some places.
Yeah,
Like,
we were, I think it was in 2021, we were open 19 weeks of the year.
wow,
Like,
that's
see.
cold. So in Adelaide, where I lived, our lockdown was 2 weeks, and pretty much no
Oh,
one followed the rules. Like,
wow, that's
I
really
was,
good, actually.
yeah, like I had zero places to be, right? I work from home,
Wow.
yada yada yada.
Yeah,
And my wife and we'd sort of just moved in with each other. Like we hadn't really lived together, maybe like 4 months.
yeah.
And we got a dog. Because what
Oh,
better time to train a puppy than when both of us are home,
yeah,
right? Um,
yeah.
her office shut for, you know, a period. It was meant to be 3 weeks, but literally after two, her bosses were like, screw the government, like, come back. And they're
Yeah,
like, what do you mean?
yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? And then midway through that week, they lifted, you know. Whereas in Melbourne, sort of the closest city to Adelaide,
Mm.
I'm sure you've heard of Melbourne. It's not a,
Yeah, yeah,
it's a pretty
yeah.
famous place. They had about, I think it was 11 months or something, and then about 6 months off, and
Wow.
then shut again for another like half a year or
Yeah,
more. It was
yeah. It's huge
brutal.
impact, isn't it?
Expecting people with physical jobs and,
Mm.
like things like that, not having control over, am I essential even.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was very hard. Very hard. But I'm glad you
yes.
guys made it through that, and,
Yeah,
and had the staying
yeah.
power to
I
come
think it
out the
just gives
other
us
end.
that little more belief that we've got that sticking power. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and that's another reflection of your success, right? Since taking over, is
yeah,
that would have been 10 years into it, I'd say 9 or 10, if my math
yeah,
is correct.
yeah, 10 years into it,
Mm.
really. Yeah. It
To
was
then
also dealing
have,
with like staff, like mental health and getting back into it, and people have become quite insular or anxious, and working with, these goggles and visors. And it's like, wow, we've just had months off and now we're just thrown back in with a full column, and everything's changed, and people's hair, what they did to their hair in lockdown was just crazy. And you're
yeah,
trying to fix this in what, manage client expectations, but at the same time, fix it as much as you can in one appointment. It was a
mm,
surreal time, actually. Something I don't really want to go back to.
no, let's.
Everybody, yeah.
I'd like to think the world has maybe learned,
Yeah,
you know. Yeah, we'll see. So, have you any experience working with developers or like agencies for some of your services in terms of marketing or any of those?
Yeah. So I wouldn't say so much agencies. I don't really feel there's many agencies for our industry. It's more like say recruitment agency side of things. I'm talking like, so I'd say that it's normally through socials that we'd gain our staff, or word of mouth, or reaching out to them. So we're still kind of in that way of like recruiting our team and staff. That's where I'd actually think it would be a really positive if there was a little bit more of that. Beauty, it's a little bit more accessible, but for hair it's not really, because I think it's such a creative industry. You can't really show your side too much through the recruitment. Yeah, it's more seeing people's work on Instagram and things like that,
Yeah,
that you're drawn to. But development wise, I've just had a new website done. I just kept it clean, simple, easy to use. They were amazing. I just hit it off with the developer really well. She's lovely, and we just connected. We just got on really well. So that made it quite fun actually to produce. And marketing, you know what, we haven't really been that big on marketing. It's probably something I'd like to get into, but when I do see the cost and stuff of things and we're busy, I do think, you know, is it worth investing in that side of it? We'll always support like local charities or do fundraisers or prizes for people, you know, raffle prizes for charity, things like that. But no, I haven't really worked with many big developers or agencies across the 15 years, which is quite surprising, really. But as I come to think of it, no. But maybe if I do launch the new wellness hub, that's something I can definitely do. And
yeah,
taking it a step further and above everybody as well, with like say the app and things like that.
for sure.
Yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, happy to have a chat with you about that kind of
yeah,
thing as well. Like I've been in marketing agencies, you know, for the first chunk of my big boy career.
yeah.
So yeah, I've got a lot of experience with how it operates and sort of what
Mm.
expectations to go into those conversations with, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I'm not a
yeah.
marketing agency myself anymore, so you know, if you want
Mm.
any advice, I'm happy
Yeah,
to
thanks,
have a
Shuj,
chat, you know?
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And so your next milestone, if we're talking about a wellness hub, or that kind of vision, whether it's external or an expansion on the space you have, have you thought about whether that's something you want to maybe partner on or externally fund, or do you want it to be a part of?
I'm more so I haven't thought about that side of it too much, but I would definitely partner with somebody if they were the right fit and we shared the same vision, then definitely, because I always think two heads are better than one. But if you could bringing ideas in, and that's definitely something that would excite me and be a little bit different to what I do now, just to bounce ideas off of and have that connection in growing it. So definitely, and possibly funding, as long as it's the right type of funding. And I've always done it on my own, like we've done it through the salon and things like that. But yeah, if there's funding out there to get it to where we need to be, then 100% I'd be open to looking into that for sure.
And
Yeah.
what kind of support do you think would accelerate you towards that milestone the most?
I'd say team support still, and finding the right location, somebody maybe out there looking for the right location or getting to know the business, and finding that, and then feeling I go a lot on how things make me feel. So if I feel sort of lit up with something, I'm all for it. So it's just finding the right thing and being open. If someone comes along that I feel is a great fit and that we can work together and bounce ideas off of, brilliant. And that's
Amazing.
what I think.
I'd say that
Yeah.
after 15 years, what you've achieved, your instincts seem trustworthy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A little
yeah.
cynical sometimes.
I'm still
Yeah.
figuring mine out. I have things that hit and they hit. Some things have
Yeah.
not, and
Yeah. And
cost
that's
me a
okay.
lot
That's
of time. You know, like
yeah.
yeah, you lose a few bucks here and there, sometimes a bit more than a
Time.
few, but the
Yeah.
time is what you know.
Time. So it's the most precious part. Yeah. I get that.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was, let's jump into the lightning round
Mm.
if you're ready.
Yeah.
What is the best piece of advice you've received while trying to build something new?
I'd say the hardest paths are normally the right one. The hardest path is normally the correct path. The easy path is normally not the right choice. And I think it's so true. If something feels hard, I do actually. I mean, I believe in things coming together to work for you. But at the same time, I believe the hard choices are normally the right ones. And I
If
stick
it
with that.
feels
Yeah.
if it feels too good to be true, it probably is, yeah.
It usually is. Yeah. Yeah.
Any advice you'd give someone who's starting out with an idea? I guess in terms of your industry, it'd
Yeah.
typically be taking that step from
Um,
working in to working on.
I'd say keep pushing. Don't just keep pushing through and just don't expect it overnight. Our industry's all built on trust and it takes a lot. So as long as you show up and I feel that you're true, you're kind, but you can also lead in a respectful way, then I think you're there. But just keep sticking at it. Yeah. And it's okay to have rubbish days, to celebrate like the highs and the lows because it happened. That's life, isn't it? And that's what happens to everybody, but you will get there. So yeah, I think as long as you're feeling good as you're doing it, then take both, take the highs and the lows and keep going. That's what
Amazing.
I'd say.
And where can people find out more about you, your work, what you
Yeah.
do?
So we've got the Instagram, which is at the Über Salon, and we've got the Über Beauty Instagram too. They're two separate ones. And then I've got my own at Bex Uber as well, which is a little bit of my journey, life and family and home as well. And then we've got the website, which is theubersalon.com, which is all under one roof with the beauty as well. And I think, yeah, we've got the Facebook as well, the Uber Salon. So we're yet to TikTok yet. It's just
Amazing.
time.
TikTok, I'll
Yeah.
have all those links everywhere that this is
Yeah.
published as
Thank
well.
you.
Amazing. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you for your time,
Yeah,
and
thank you.
really nice
You
to meet
too.
you. And
And you, I really enjoyed it.
thank you.